So our first pose is Adho Mukha Svanasana. So our hands are forward in this position. We lift the abdomen, we tuck the toes under, look forward. So soft inhale, soft exhale. Then when we come up, we want to see that we're still connecting as if we've got that triangular action at the tailbone. So that's got to lift. The tip of the tailbone has really got to be isolated and to lift up, because we tend to drop the belly out, and you want to see that you pick it up structurally. So you want to get that action, connect and see, can you extend into your Adho Mukha Svanasana and just be there. Now, for those of you who are challenged by this action, then you don't have to stay for as long stay. Maybe do 2 or 3 actions and see if they improve, because these videos are about exploring. So just see that you explore, stay if you can, but if it's a bit challenging, then you have to see that you come down and you go back up. So now coming to the resting position, Adho Mukha Virasana, we come back onto the heels and extend forward, letting the head release down. So a soft inhalation, soft exhalation, just be there for a moment. So just be sure that when you're practicing, you're regulating your breath, you're observing your breath. So come up, have a look now, because we're moving the practice on. So our next pose again is Adho Mukha Svanasana, so we get a second go at this, and then we're coming into Uttanasana. Just take a look. So you want to remember that you're getting that connection with the tailbones. You have to really see that you reach back with the center buttock. Look forward, have the dorsal working really nicely. Now you can achieve this by just bringing the arms a little bit forward. You can see here. Now I'm going to step. So when I step my legs, I want to pull up the thighs very strongly, lift the abdominal area and step the legs. So a wide action at the very beginning. Now, if you're challenged by taking the hands to the floor in this way, then you want to put a couple of bricks underneath the hands. So pulling up the kneecaps and thighs, being in this position. Now we want to see that eventually we can bend the arms, but as we do, as we soften the elbow, put the hands flatter or turn the bricks, you want to see that you lift the center buttock even more. So center buttock has got to go up, lifting the abdomen so strongly. And then see, can you fold your arms and extend in this way? And just be there for a few moments. Soft inhalation, soft exhalation. And so see if you can support the whole action from really understanding the work in the center buttock. It's got to lift up, the head's got to release, eyes soften, face soft. Just stay, stay. And now release in. So what we're going to do is to come up from there and come for Tadasana. So feet together, roll your shoulders back and down, get that lift nicely. All right, our next pose is going to be Prasarita Padottanasana. Now, just take a look at this action. Again, we want to see that we're sharpening those outer foot bones. The center of the buttock, we've got to find that breadth and broadness in these center muscles here. And be sure that that femur head is lifting you. Roll your shoulders back and down. Now, if you need bricks again, use bricks to put your hands onto, but otherwise hands down. Now connect with the legs, very strong knee pull up. Again, we're going to see, can we lift the center of the buttock even more? Get in that action. Fold the arms and see, can you take the arms down? If you're putting your hands on bricks, fine. Now, as you put the elbows down, dorsal spine in, look forward, dorsal spine in. Energize the center of the buttock, go up. Body groins lifting. Body groins lifting. Now, if you can release the head onto the forearms, fine. But otherwise, just let it be there. Let it be there. Okay, and then releasing. So, when you come out of this, you want to again lift the heels, bend the knees, step those legs together and come up. So a really nice light way of working. When the legs are inactive, what tends to happen is that we become very heavy. The whole thing becomes really, really heavy. So I want to see that we are working nicely in that way. All right, so what we're going to do now is to have a small bolster. Now, if you've got one mat only, this is not a big deal. It's not a problem. You can use that mat for this next practice. So we're going to roll the mat. So start rolling your mat or your spare mat and see where we are with this. I really like to roll the mat because it becomes quite firm as a bolster and it becomes like a roller. So this is really nice to have to encourage the work in the spine. Now, we've done this before over the last few months. So what I want you to do is to just get a feel and sense the action of the folded mats. It needs to be nice and tight along the spine. So you can just let the shoulders drape. You want to see that the shoulders drape and you'll be able to feel where there's stiffness there. So just let those shoulders drape nicely. Let the abdomen soften. All of this. So you just want to take a few moments to encourage those muscle fibers to really work in a passive way, but very, very nicely. So when you're in this position, you want to weight down with the anterior spine. So you want to see that the whole of the front body is moving to the back body. And you might find that the rolled mat fits really nicely between the shoulder blades, and encourage that action. Encourage that action. Now, in your own time, you can spend a little bit longer with this. You can roll side to side. This is very slow movements, but this gets things moving. So remember that we've got lots of layers and they just get very glued together. So what we're going to do now is to turn the rolled mat, and again, you can take as long on this as you wish to. Now, this mat needs to be right underneath. Well, it's a bit wonky. That's a bit better. Okay, that's better. You want to see that the rolled mat is right the way on top of the trapezius muscles, just at the back of the shoulder area. So you don't want to take it lower, because then this is in the dorsal area. So you want to start with this rolled mat onto the trapezius muscle in this way, and let the arms release down, let the abdomen release down. Soft inhalation, exhalation. Just let yourself release completely. See that you get length in the spinal area from letting the abdomen completely release down, keeping these actions really nicely. And then we're going to see, can we come into a little bit more of an opening? You can see here, this is a little bit more of an opening in this way. So we are just priming the body in a very passive way to actually get some warmth, a little bit of movement in those muscles there, so that they get an idea of the direction, and then it makes the poses a little bit easier. All right, and then coming up. After always we come into these actions, it's a really good idea to just absorb that, so that we sit with our legs crossed. A really nice way to absorb all of that. Now remember, at the very beginning, we sat on a corner, whether it was a foam pad or whether it was your blanket, doesn't really matter. But I'm going to sit now on the corner of the rolled mat. So in this way. And then coming into this action. So you can just feel that there's a whole length going on. There's a length in the trapezius muscles. There's a length going on in the spine. Just let the eyes soften and just explore there in this really beautifully opened position. And then release it. So it's always good to feel what it's like to have those isolated areas working in the pose, because we have to do some of the prep for this. Now just have a look at the screen just for a moment. Now some of you will find coming into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana a lot easier this way. If you've got difficulties, you can actually rise into it like this instead of lifting up into it. Some of you will be able to come into the full action. So we've had those actions on the spine from the mat. So we've gone into the vertical action, horizontal action. So you've got to follow the direction. And when you come to the horizontal, you've got to keep that broadness. Now, can you come into the pose with the feet flat? And then releasing down. So this time we come into the action, we're going to come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, Uttanasana again. So whichever way you are coming, from kneeling, going up, or coming from the ground, this is fine. But just remember, you're following the rolled mat. And when you get to the rolled mat at the top, you've got to see that's happening. Then we tuck the toes under, come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, and then Uttanasana. Now you can jump or step the action and then come up. Okay, so very, very interesting practice. All right, now because I've got this rolled mat, I'm going to use this for my head. Now you might want to use a brick and a foam pad. This is absolutely fine. But just have a look at this action now. When I come into this action, you want to see that you extend and support your head. So you don't want to go down, you want to still maintain that vertical action of the mat, the horizontal action of the mat. And then releasing the head down. Any amount. Any amount. So it may be that you want to use a foam pad with a brick on top for your head. Whatever, it really doesn't matter. Whatever way you're working. So just have a go at that and see if you're really installing some of these changes in your body. And then slowly release. You can walk your feet towards your hands and come up slowly. Okay, very good. All right, so we're going to need a belt for the next action. So just have a look. So the belt is going to come into our Uttanasana. So I'm just going to hold the belt in this way, like this. So I want to move the tail away so I'm not going to fall on it. We don't want any more accidents. All right, so I'm in this position. Now, I haven't got the arms. I've got to see that I can get in this coiling action and sit. Here you come halfway. Now, when you come to this stage, you've got to really lift the center buttock up. And I'm going to just take the arms up. Now, I'm not really interested in taking the arms all the way over, but I want to see that I'm lifting the buttocks so much that actually it's not a great deal to let the arms release a little bit. Let them lean into the belt. Okay, so you get the idea. It's quite a strong action. So I would really recommend that you practice a couple of times, getting this action really good in terms of the center of the buttock supporting you. So as your arms go over, you can't just go over without getting that lift from the legs and the center buttocks. It's a really important action. All right, so just have a go with that while I just roll my mat out again. So it's a really nice way of practicing and really getting into those shoulders. So this is really quite an important practice when you're working the upper body. And we did say that we would be working the upper body in some of the poses today. So I've just moved my mat near to the wall and I've got a belt. So just have a look at the screen to have a look at the different options that you can practice in Pincha Mayurasana. But for today, I'm going to be working with just a belt. And this is really my attempt to get sorted in my upper back and also to get those shoulders moving. So one of the key actions in this pose is to be sure that you are refining the shoulder action. So this is all the things that we've been doing. So when we put our hands down, you've got to be sure that this shoulder is not coming with you. It's got to stay back. When you come up, it's easier when you come up, and this may be your practice to start with, just coming up before you build your confidence to go up completely. But you want to see the shoulders working really nicely, and then you lift up. Okay, so you can see there, they're aided by the wall, but eventually once you get all of this really nice movement in the shoulders, then the confidence comes and then you can lift up in the center of the room. So play with this, work with this. You can turn the video off for a few moments and have a good practice. You've seen the options on the screen, so just see that you choose something and either just do the preparation work or go up as well, depending. You might have a friendly person to help you to go up as well. So whatever you're doing, then just see that you work towards it. It's really, really key. I've got a folded blanket. You can use a corner of a foam pad and cross your legs in the other way. So what's not so natural to you? So be in this position. And then just bring some of this really nice chest opening into your practice. So holding on to the knees, seeing that you are lifting from the base and going up. Pin your shoulders back and down and see, is there change, or does your body want to stay in its tightness? So reach the trapezius muscles to the shoulder itself. And just take a few breaths. Let the eyes soften. Just taking a few inhalations, exhalations. And then releasing. So just to absorb some of that work. Now it might be that you want to stay in that position for a little bit longer. You know, some of these actions on your body have been quite useful today and you can stay in that a little bit longer. If you're moving with the video, then we're coming for Savasana. So just lying back, taking your time to just come into this rested position. And again, be aware of the base of the body, so the legs roll out to the side, and just be aware of the base, the tailbone, the softness in the abdomen. Let the eyes soften, let the abdomen soften. And just focus on where the breath is now. So just use the breath to see where you are. You can tell if your nervous system is settling as the breaths get a little bit deeper. So stay for a little longer if you can. I will slowly retreat as this is the end of the sequence. Thank you for joining me and look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.